to another episode of Cynthia Untamed, your youthful and educational platform where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa, and make sure you stay tuned in this video where we will be talking about the myths and misconceptions about young people. Just before I talk about the myths and misconceptions about young people, and especially young people in Africa, I came across a very interesting report by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation. For those who do not know Mo Ibrahim, he is one of the richest men in Africa, and he established the Mo Ibrahim Foundation that focuses on critical leadership and governance in Africa. So let's go through the article right before we talk about the myths and misconceptions about youth. Africa's first challenge: the Youth Bulge Stuck in Waithood, published by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation. Almost 60% of Africa's population in 2019 is under the age of 25, making Africa the world's youngest continent. According to the UN's demographic projections, the median age in Africa is going to be 19.8 in 2020. On the continent, Mauritius is expected to have the highest median age, 37.4, and Niger is expected to have the lowest, 15.1. In 2019, more than a third of the population is aged between 15 to 34. The African Union's African Youth Charter claims that Africa's youth is its biggest resource, and Africa's growing youth population offers enormous potential. Improvements in health and education on the continent put Africa's youth in a more advantageous position than the generations before, offering better conditions for advancing human capital. However, there is still some way to go to harness this potential. Almost 16 million young Africans, around 13.4% of the total labor force of 15 to 24-year-olds, are facing unemployment. Young Africans, especially in sub-Saharan African countries, have limited access to programs that prepare them for the school-to-work transition. Only 1.1% of 15 to 24-year-olds in sub-Saharan Africa participated in a vocational education program in 2017. Moreover, there's a widening mismatch between education and employers' needs. Across the continent, unemployment rates among 15 to 24-year-olds with advanced level education are higher than for those with basic education, apart from in 4 countries: Namibia, Seychelles, South Africa, and Swaziland. For employed youth, informal jobs are the default rather than the exception. In many countries where the informal sector is an important part of the economy, unemployment rates often do not reflect the realities of the labor market. This results in a negative outlook when it comes to living standards and financial independence. More than 40% of young Africans consider their current living situation to be very bad or fairly bad. Lack of income is the most prevalent form of deprivation facing young Africans, with 37% of the respondents of this survey that was conducted by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, aged 18 to 35, having been without a cash income many times. The Ibrahim Forum report finds that 60% of Africans, and especially youth, think that their governments are doing a very bad or a fairly bad job at addressing the needs of young people. This highlights the need for reflection on the status and relationship between youth and politics. The foundation also noted that Africa was on the verge of losing its youth to political apathy, but also migration or extremist groups, and these words are still valid today. It is widely believed that all young people are tech-savvy. What do I mean when I say tech-savvy? Tech-savvy means that all young people can easily use technology, which is not the case. And the World Bank also says that the divide also increases depending on the gender, because remember, women and girls have often been disadvantaged when it comes to lack of opportunities. And the report by the World Bank goes on to say that the gender divide in Africa stands at 37%, which is very, very high, which means that when it comes to access to opportunities in technology, of course, then the divide or the lack of opportunity is going to be much wider compared to men and women, and even worse when it comes to young people, because young people are often left behind when it comes to lack of opportunities. So it's important for us to understand that not all young people are tech savvy due to reasons such as this. Is it true that all young people are socially disengaged? I don't think so. Just because our generation has access to technology and work has been made easier does not mean that young people do not want to socialize. In fact, right now, there's a high percentage of mental health challenges among young people because young people are no longer able to interact as much as they used to. You cannot meet your friends in school the way you used to. You can't go out and have terrific Tuesday pizzas the way you used to. So it's not true. Young people still want to interact with their communities. They're not all socially disengaged. Work has been made easier, but it doesn't mean we don't want to interact with anyone. I also disagree with the misconception that young people are not good communicators. Now, I know we've had challenges among young people, misspelling words, that's one, not being able to articulate their words, that's also true. But I don't think this challenge is unique to our generation. I think this challenge has existed way before. And it's not necessarily our fault as young people, because sometimes not every young person has had access to speak English all their life, for example, or fluent Kiswahili all their life. So that may then deprive them of the advantage of being good communicators. If you compare children from different setups, you'll find the children who've gone to private institutions are naturally better speakers than children who've gone to public schools. And this is not statistically proven, this is just from experience. And this is not their fault. However, I believe that young people can improve their communication skills. That is for sure. There is so much more that we can do. But saying that all young people are not good communicators, it is not true. By the way, if you are a young person who wants to learn how to improve your public speaking and communication skills, make sure you check out my video on how to speak like Barack Obama. Young people don't care about the future. Really? No, that is not true. Look at all the young people who are working to end so many challenges that are facing the world. Greta Thunberg when it comes to climate change. Look at all the young people right here in Kenya, right here in Africa. Check them out on cynthiaandtim.com, who care about the future of this country. They care about the future of this continent, and they're doing something to end the challenges that face us so that our children don't go through the same challenges. So it is not true that all young people don't care about the future. That is not true. When it comes to opportunity, every time I hear this statement that is said, young people don't utilize any opportunities given to them. That is not true. Personally, I believe that people make their own choices. You decide whether you will use that opportunity when you have it or not. You decide. It is not true that young people don't utilize the opportunities. For example, I can give an example of my case. Whenever I've been shortlisted into an interview by an organization, I always try to stay in touch whenever I can, whenever possible, because I know if that door didn't open for me, another door within that organization can open up, or somewhere else within the circle of that same opportunity that I missed. So it is not true. And I have seen young people learning from their mistakes. When they make a mistake, they try to prove that they are still worthy of an opportunity. So it is not true that all of us don't want to utilize the opportunities that we have been given. In fact, what I see is that a lot of us don't even have opportunity to begin with. You know, you can just say, oh, there's a lot of technology. Why aren't young people being innovative? But how will they be innovative if within the education system they're not enabled to be innovative? They're just cramming stuff. How will they be innovative? So it is not true. It is not true. However, there are lots of opportunities out there, and if you can access them through YouTube, through blogs, through reports, through events. Make sure you do. Really, let me tell you, at the end of the day, as a young person, you will not be able to blame anyone for missing out on opportunities. You have to fight for your space and own it as a young person. The United Nations Population Fund estimates that there are over 1.8 billion young people in the world. That is huge. And Africa is also the youngest continent in the world, which means that we have more young people in the continent compared to older people. And now the challenge that we have right now is unemployment. Speak to young people and ask them a challenge they're facing, and the first thing they'll tell you is unemployment. Unemployment is huge in Africa, and it is widely believed that the solution to unemployment, or rather the only solution to unemployment, is building skills. Now, I do not underestimate the power of building skills for young people, because I remember, like I said, our education system trains us to cram, and then when you cram, when you go into the real world, you're not even able to apply the knowledge that you have. But having skills is not enough. Look at the number of people who have master's degrees, PhDs, and have no employment still. So I believe that the opportunity given to young people to get skills, for them to be good communicators or good writers or innovators, people who can code, should also be matched by the number of employment opportunities created in the community. And this means that the business sector, or rather the private sector, NGOs, government, should find a way of creating job opportunities for young people. Really, that is the only way to solve unemployment. The other channel of creating employment then is through entrepreneurship. And I know we keep saying young people should be entrepreneurs, but sometimes you find that the people telling young people to be entrepreneurs have never even tried to run a business. Guys, it's sad, but it is the reality. So I think we need to be honest with young people and tell them that entrepreneurship is not easy, because the number of stories I've been watching on entrepreneurship just confirmed to me that entrepreneurship is not easy. So how do young people make it in entrepreneurship? Please tell us. If you're a young person who's running your own business, your own company, your own organization, how do you stay afloat? How do you make money? I'd love to hear from you. There's also a common notion that all young people are on social media, and people who tend to be in the communication and media space are the ones who normally tend to keep passing all these narratives that young people, all of them, are on social media, which is not necessarily the case. Yes, it is true that a good number of them are online, but we also have to ask ourselves how many people actually log in and use the internet. That's why when Facebook is counting like the number of people who use their social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, they usually talk about active users. Remember, there's a difference between active internet users and inactive internet users. Also, the GSMA, which is a mobile company, also estimated that by 2018, 3G internet coverage in Africa was at 70%, and by the end of 2018, internet affordability had risen to 68.5%. However, this was still 2% higher than the average income of people in Africa. Remember, in Africa and in Kenya, most people live on less than $1 a day, which is less than 100 shillings. So you'll ask yourself, will this person go and use social media, or will they use the money to go and buy themselves a plate of food, a packet of unga? What are they going to do with this money? Will they use it to access healthcare? Which is why then we need to keep increasing internet affordability in Africa. So no, it is not true that all young people are on social media. That is it with the myths and misconceptions about young people. What are some of the other myths and misconceptions that bother you, and especially those that bother you as a young person growing up or living in Africa? What bothers you? I was watching an episode of Betty Kialo lately, and there's this lady called Elizabeth Ntonjira who's very passionate about young people, runs her own network known as the Liz Ntonjira Network. Make sure you read about Liz Ntonjira right here on Cynthia Untamed. And she was talking about her book called #YouthCan. And she was saying one of the main motivations behind her writing the book is because she feels that young people are really marginalized. They're often labeled as people who don't care. And for me personally, this also really bothers me, because it is not true. Because everybody at some point was young. Everybody at some point was a baby, and now we are growing and growing and growing, and more people will be born. So are we going to continue having the same myths and misconceptions about young people, about our own children, about the people we mentor, about the people who work for us? No, I think it's important for us to change our mindsets. And even more importantly, we as young people standing up and saying that we are the change, we are the generation unlimited. Remember, the motto for Generation Unlimited is our time, our turn, our future. Translated to Kiswahili, ni time yetu, ni turn yetu, ni future yetu kwa uhakika. Thank you for tuning in to that episode of Cynthia Untamed. I hope it enabled your mind to think a little bit beyond what you actually assume about you as a young person, what you assume about other young people. I hope that we all change our mindsets for the better. Do let me know what else you want me to talk about on Cynthia Untamed. Remember, this is your youthful and educational platform. Follow me on Instagram at Cynthia_Oprah_Nyongesa, on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah, on LinkedIn, Cynthia Nyongesa. Let's keep chatting. Let's keep having the conversation.